All right, welcome back. In this video, we are going to make some domain name server changes, DNS setting changes, or actually additions. We're going to do possibly one change, maybe an addition. It depends on how you're currently set up, so that we can point the domain to AcquisitionPRO, either for, or I should say, for both your website, if you want a website for your primary domain, or we can set it up as a subdomain, completely up to you. And so that we can send email from AcquisitionPRO. So we're going to accomplish both of those because neither are going to take very long, although there is some copying and pasting we have to do inside AcquisitionPRO that may take a few more minutes. All right, so first thing you want to do once you're logged in, make sure you log into your AcquisitionPRO account and log into your HostGator cPanel. Logged into both of those. You also want up your email so that we can test that email out. First thing we want to do is come down to the bottom of your AcquisitionPRO account and click on Settings, and then come over here to Domains. And the first thing we're going to do is add the domain to the server. Now for me, I'm going to be adding my full domain because this is brand new and I don't have a website for it. So I want to move my primary domain here, and you do not want the www because it will conflict with your email settings. So do not do the www. So it's just going to be https multifamilysac.com, https://multifamilysac.com, or your domain in your case. You do not want the www. Hit continue. It's going to go search for the domain. Now it's not going to find it because it's in HostGator. If it was on GoDaddy, you could sign in to GoDaddy and it would actually find it for you and do everything all set up lickety-split. But in my case, we are going to have to do some changes. First thing I have to do is change my A record. So I want to copy the value. I know it's going to be an A record, and where it says host, so if you're using Bluehost or something like that, then it may require that @ symbol. For HostGator, it doesn't require that. So if I go into my cPanel, come down to Domains, go to Zone Editor, which is right here. I'm going to open this up, and I'm in my multifamily SAC. I could just add the A record here, but I don't want to because I want to edit it. So I want to go to Manage, and here is my current A record. So the IP address for HostGator for my server is this IP address. I want to change this to point the primary domain to AcquisitionPRO. So I'm just going to edit this one instead of adding a new one. I'm going to leave this the way it is. So in HostGator, you have to show the whole domain. Don't put the period there. It will put the period there automatically. It's already at A record. You see you have 4A, which you'll never use, CAA, which I think is Canada. I'm not sure. CNAME, you will be using CNAME, we'll be using MX, and we'll be using TXT. These other ones, SRV, CAA, and quadruple A, you will not be using for this. So I'm going to edit this. I'm just going to paste in that new IP address, hit Save Record, make sure I get my green box, and I do. If I was adding that A record, I'd click Add Record, make sure this was A. I'd leave this blank and paste it in, and then hit Save Record. Actually, when I come out of it, it should have put it in there automatically, but it didn't. So I'll just put in the multifamily SAC.com, and I'm going to change this to 0 just to see what it does, and hit Save Record, and it added that new A record. Now where did it add it? Probably on the bottom right down here, and it saved it appropriately. So you do have to type that in. If you're doing like a subdomain or something like that, and I'll show you in a minute, you do not have to type all that in. But let me delete this because we definitely don't want this. So let me get that out of there. All right, so now my A record is pointed. I go back to AcquisitionPRO and verify the record. Now it's going to sit here and think about it for anywhere from 20 to 60 seconds. So while it's thinking about it, I'm going to pause the video. All right, so that took about 25 seconds. Next thing I can do is select the funnel, but I don't have, well, if you've got the template from me, then you have these funnels. So I'm just going to right now select it with the connect with. For the time being, I can change this later, and I'm going to go ahead and link that domain to the connect with just so it's linked. So we now have our primary domain. That is now set. If you don't have or don't want, because you have an existing website, to move your website to AcquisitionPRO, and I don't blame you. You don't need to. Set up some kind of subdomain. So if I come up here and I hit add, and I want to create a subdomain, then I can go client.multifamilysac.com. So I want to set up this subdomain for client. Hit continue. Because this is now a subdomain, we are going to be changing the CNAME record, not the A record, and we just have to have that CNAME record point to flash.funnels. That is now copied, but there's more to it than that. So we come back over to HostGator. So now I'm going to come here, and this time I'm going to add a record. I'm going to change it to CNAME. I'm going to come in here and put clients, and I'm going to leave it just like that. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to paste that record in here, which is the flash.funnels msgsndr.com, which is what you copied from right here. Okay. Once I do that, I hit save record, and now that record is saved. So if we come to the bottom, now we have a subdomain for that same account. And if I click verify record, again, it may take 20 to 30 seconds, so I'm going to pause this while it is verifying. Okay, so again, it took about 25 seconds. So this time I'm going to go ahead and just select the opt-in funnel for leads template, just to put it somewhere. It doesn't have to be, and we can change it later, and hit link domain. And now that subdomain is here. So if you're using a subdomain, that's exactly how you're going to do it. Now let's go in and set up our email settings. So I'm going to come up here to email services. And the first thing I want to do is go to reply and forward settings, so I don't forget to do this later. And this reply address is really important. You want that reply address to be your email address. Do not make this different. If this is different, you will fail your DMARC settings, and we do not want to fail DMARC settings. So I'm going to hit the, put my address in there, hit save. That's done. Now I'm going to come back to SMTP services, and yes, we want to create a dedicated domain. So because our email is from Lead Connector, it's really through Mailgun, you can do one of two things. You can either use LC as your subdomain, because we're going to create another subdomain through a CNAME record, through MX records, and through TXT records. So you can either use lc.yourdomain.com, or you can use mg.yourdomain.com for Mailgun, or you can use mail. But the problem with mail. Is if we come back over here and we look, we already have a mail. So you do not want to use mail. You could use email. Or inbox. Or something like that if you wanted to. I just like to use what they have available for us. So I'm just going to go lc.multifamilysac.com. And that's going to be the subdomain I'm going to create for it. And then click add and verify. Now, the records are going to come up. So now we got to connect that subdomain URL, and it's going to bring up a whole bunch of records because it's not going to be able to find it inside HostGator. There's going to be 5 of them that we're going to have to copy and paste. All right, we've got 2 TXTs, a CNAME, and 2 MXs. Just do it in order. So come here first copy that. This is a TXT record. Come over here, click Add Record. We're going to make this a TXT record. We're going to paste that in there, and now we have to get the record here. So we come back, click the required value. This is the value. Come back here, paste this in, and save record. Okay. Now we've got to go get the next one. So this is that same subdomain. So we don't need to copy this. All we need to know is that LC right there. Let's just copy the required value, go back here. I'm going to hit add record. I'm not going to change the type yet. I'm just going to type in LC, and then I'm going to come here and change it to a TXT record, and then I'm going to paste in my value, hit save record, and now that record is saved. Now I'm going to come back here and do my CNAME. So I want to copy this first, and then add record. Now I can change it to CNAME, paste in the CNAME. Now I want to go get the value, which should be mailgun.org. I'm going to copy that, bring that back over, paste that in, and save that record. So now that CNAME is saved. So now we have this email.lc. And so now we've got our email for our subdomain, much like the email is or mail is here for the primary domain. Okay, it's kind of same functionality. So now we're going to come back here. Now we're going to do the two MX records. These are both just the subdomain, so we don't need to copy these. We're just going to put in LC. If you used LC or whatever you used for your subdomain, what we do need to do is copy these. Now, there is only one change that has to be made. This is an MXA. This is an MXB. So we only need to copy one of these, but we're going to duplicate this. But on the second one, we're going to change it to MXB. So if I come back over here, hit add record, I'm going to change this to MX. And I'm going to put in LC because it is a subdomain. My priority is 10. It doesn't give you that information, but use 10 anyway. And then it's mxa.mailgun.org. Hit save record. I'm going to do that again exactly the same way. LC. It's an MX record. 10. And now it's mxb.mailgun.org. Okay. Save that record. And now they're all verified. All right, so now I'm going to come here, and it takes anywhere from a minute to 2 minutes for this to occur. So we're probably going to get some errors when we verify this record. Okay, says not verified, but if I hit verify again, these should all go green, and they do. But it still doesn't verify the domain itself. So we've got to come back to dedicated domain, and you'll notice the SSL is still unknown. So now we want to verify again, come back here, and at this point, I'm just going to kill it a minute or two of time so that it gets a chance to catch itself up, hit verify domain again, and we are now done. So now you can mail from your AcquisitionPRO account and be able to view it in here. So first thing I'm going to do is send. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to contacts. I'm going to add a new contact. I'm going to put in my name. So no privacy issues, YouTube, are being violated here. This is my name, my email, and my phone. So please don't remove this video because they like to do that if they feel you're violating issues. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save. So now I can email to this contact. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to send an email message, but I have to select the contact first. I'm going to send an email, hit OK, proceed. It's going to be from David Monroe, CCIM, because that's the name in my account. And it's going to be from David at multifamilysac.com. Make sure those are accurate. Subject, test email for new account. Please reply to this email as this is my new email address. So this is how we warm up the system. You're going to have to send this for about the next 30 days first before you start sending bulk email to people that you know so that they'll reply back and warm your email up. Make sure you put some kind of signature here. I'm just going to say thank you and my name. There we go. You always have to put an action in here, so I'm just going to write test. Normally you can just like put in a 1 or a number or a letter, and I want to send it at once. Click send email. All right, so it has now been sent. I'm going to click OK, and now I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to go check that email, and once I get that email up, I will reply again. So hold on 1 second. Okay, so here is that email, test email for new account. This came within about 10 seconds, so it came really quick. There is my email address. Please reply to this email to make sure it works. And of course, you got to have this unsubscribe. It's part of our system. So I'm going to hit reply, and I'm going to say test looks good. And I'm going to hit send. Okay. And that's going to send that email. Now, something else we're going to do while that is sending is we need to add one more thing to our DNS records, and that is a DMARC setting. So if I go to Show Original, notice our DKIM and our SPF pass, which is now required by Google and Yahoo, but my DMARC is going to fail because we did not set, there's not even a DMARC here, because we did not set that DMARC. So that's something that's now required. So we're going to have to go back in and do that. And we'll do that here in just a second. But if we come back here and click refresh, it may take a little bit for this to come in. Oh, server error. Okay, so it's logged me out somehow. So I'm going to log out. And I'm going to log back in. Log in. All right, I'm logged back in. That email has not got here yet. It may take a couple of minutes to get here. While we're waiting for it, we're going to come back over here. We're going to add a new record. All right, so what we're adding is underscore DMARC. This is a TXT record. And our value is... and I'm going to paste that here. V equals DMARC1, P equals none. So P is what are they going to do with this email? There's 3 choices. None, they're going to quarantine it, or they're going to reject it. Google right now says put none. Yahoo says do not put none, but Google says even though Yahoo says that, do it anyway, at least for the first 30 days. And then your RUA is where do you want this sent to? So I need to change my RUA to be my email address. So to do this a little quicker, I'm just going to copy instead of pasting, and I'm going to instead of typing, I'm going to paste that in. So that is now my email address. Hit save record. So now my DMARC is set up. So that is one extra thing that you have to do. Now that that's done, let's go check and see if our email is here yet, and it doesn't look like it is. And I'm getting server errors, so I need to figure out what's going on with that. So I'm going to pause this video for a minute. Okay, so it took almost an hour to get it, but I did send another one. The reason for the conflict was I had another instance of the web app up from another account, so it was creating a conflict. Once I closed it, the conflict was gone, but it took quite some time to get that first email, and you'll see that. So if I were to do it again, it would probably be much faster the second time. It's just that first one that you receive from an email address it doesn't recognize, that it could take some time. So we can see that it does work. So at this point, you have your email set up. So you have a domain name that will now go to your website, and you have a subdomain for your email. Now that all of that is set up, in the next video, we are going to cover your business profile settings so we can start to prepare for the A2P registration, get you a phone number, and let you be able to send SMS messages for those that agree to receive them. We'll see you in the next video.